We have one of the regional directors with us, Bill Rumbaugh, right?
Yes.
Thanks, Bill. We appreciate you being here.
And it's great to be here, Dan.
So you're Maryland, Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania and
New
Jersey.
And
yes.
New Jersey. So we're here at the processing center, going to probably process 900,000, give or take.
The goal would be, or we hope to process 900,000. Last year we did just shy of 900,000, about 894,000. So, since we rely on what God is going to do, we think about these goals as God-sized goals.
Sure.
We depend upon what He's going to do. But so far I think we're up around the 500,000 thus far, and we've still got a couple of more weeks to go. So it's a great time.
So how long have you been doing this?
This is about 2 years for me, almost exactly, actually.
Okay.
2 years this month.
And so I know you travel a bit. You were recently in the Ukraine.
Exactly, yes.
Ukraine very much in the news right now. I've been talking about it a lot as, we see Russia taking an aggressive stance there. And tell us about it.
Well, it was one of our vision trips where we have the opportunity to go and to distribute shoeboxes. We'll take some of our volunteers that have been with the ministry for a while and allow them to experience what it's like on the other end of the shoebox. They do all this work all year long to collect shoeboxes, and we like them to get the opportunity to see what it's like to actually hand a child a shoebox and see the look on the child's face. And we were in Ukraine right at the end of April, the beginning of May. And it was an amazing experience. The people in Ukraine are phenomenal people, loving, just wonderful people. And if I can tell you a story about one of the distributions, we were there, and it was at what I would call a city hall in a small town, in sort of a great room. And the national leadership team there that are volunteers with Operation Christmas Child that live there in the Ukraine had this great presentation for the children. There were about 60 children that were there, and they had music and dancing, and they played games with the kids to get them all excited. And then they present the gospel using the materials that Operation Christmas Child provides, and they present it in different ways, and the kids are so engaged. And then we get a chance to give the shoe boxes to the children, and each child is handed a box, and on top of the box we place a copy of The Greatest Gift, which explains the gospel in their language. And then it's just like you think and you see in the videos. We count down 3, 2, 1, and it's pandemonium because children are children everywhere. They're getting a chance to open a gift, and so they did that, and we got time there to play with the children and hang out with them and just see their faces and see what the result is of these shoe boxes. And so as we were getting ready to leave that particular place, there were some parents had come to pick the children up, and they had been watching from the back, and it's great because those parents are hearing the gospel too, we trust the Lord to multiply the efforts there. But this mother came up to me, and she had two little boys with her, and each of them had received a shoebox, and she kind of tugged on my sleeve. And I could tell she wanted to tell me something. And I don't speak Ukrainian, so I'm in trouble. But I called one of our interpreters, and he came over and he interpreted for me. And she looked at me and she said, "We don't have much joy here. Today you brought joy." And that really summed up what we did while we were there and what these shoe boxes do. Joy is in the shoe boxes. Love is in the shoe boxes. Franklin talks about prayer being the most important thing in the shoe boxes. But in a place such as Ukraine, and it's not the only place in the world that's like this, but where it feels like almost the area is very oppressed, we're able to speak into the lives of the children and bring joy. And there is nothing better than that.
And the children and the people in the community get to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. And
absolutely.
It's an incredible evangelistic tool for the pastors of those churches. And we had a chance to give shoe boxes out in the southern part of Mexico. And it is just an incredible tool and a blessing. We sat in on the Greatest Journey, one of the classes, the first class they were giving there by the pastor. And I have a special place in my heart for the Ukraine. We have friends there, pastor friends there,
Sure.
and we've gone over there, and they love the Lord so much.
Yes.
And they are a people that want to evangelize their friends and brothers, their sisters in Christ. And this really is an incredible evangelistic tool, isn't it?
It is, and it allows people here in the United States, in little local churches all over the country, to pack a shoebox and through this organization become a missionary. The goal of a missionary is to share the gospel around the world. That's what we do. And so here's somebody that in some small town in southeastern Pennsylvania can send a shoebox and know that the gospel is going to be shared because of that shoebox. The shoeboxes open doors when we go into other countries that might not necessarily be open because, we're walking in with gifts for children. It's amazing.
One of the things I always say, Bill, and I've said this about the ministry in general, Samaritan's Purse, because we've done so many things, relief efforts and such with Samaritan's Purse as well. They don't go and leave. They're not going to do something nice and leave. They go ahead of time. They raise up volunteers in the community. Mm-hmm. They get to the pastors. They're helping the pastors. They're talking about the greatest journey, the tools they have to teach these children, and they're growing this equipping the people there to continue to go on and on with the ministry. And that's one of the greatest things about the ministry that I always see, that I just love, because I've been there where people have gone in and left, and it's hard. I don't want to say it's not the right thing to do. Anything you can do is good, but of course staying there and sharing the gospel and equipping these pastors it's just unbelievable.
Well, the impact that the ministry, Operation Christmas Child, has in the local communities and in the villages and around the world, we can see when we go back there. We can see the impact that, we have folks that look at statistics all the time, probably like you do, but that know through their studies that every time the gospel is shared through because of a shoebox, another 7 people are going to hear that.
Wow.
And when you stop and think about that, there's not many efforts that can give you that kind of a guarantee. You probably wish some investments gave that kind of guarantee.
Oh, boy, you're not kidding. Yeah.
Well, when you look at it that way, we're seeing that multiplication and in other countries, and then those people are then recruited, those people are used to talk to other people, and we get back and we get a chance to be in touch with them. So you're right, we're not just dropping shoeboxes and leaving.
Right, and as you said, all the adults were in the back.
Oh, yes.
They were all hearing it. I remember when we were watching this pastor in the greatest journey in this little village church, tiny little block church, all the adults were hanging in the windows.
Sure, absolutely.
Listening and hanging on everything that was being taught, so they were hearing it. They were hearing what the love of Christ is all about.
Absolutely.
And it is just an incredible evangelistic tool, and that's what we love about it. And the people that are participating and packing these boxes and praying for the person that is receiving this box ahead of time, that their hearts and ears would be open and they would be sharing it. But to hear that 7 times that it's going to get shared is just an amazing.
Imagine one day when we stand before God and someone walks up to us and says, "I'm here because you packed a shoebox." Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, that reunion of those people,
absolutely, yes,
in glory is going to be unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it all the time. I'm active with a ministry that we help here at our ministry called Preborn, to save the lives of babies. And I always talk about the reunion we're going to have in glory someday.
Surely.
With all of that. And this is the same. It's the same thing. And it is going to be an incredible blessing that is going to last for ages and generation to generation. And I just encourage everybody, if you go to SamaritansPurse.org/OCC, you can still pack a shoebox.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Build a
you
shoebox
can do it
online.
online. You can build it online.
Absolutely.
And track it. You can see which country it's going to.
Absolutely. You can, if you pack the shoebox online, you can pick what's going to go into it, pick whether it goes to a boy or a girl, and then you can track the box. And we'll send you an email that will tell you what country your box goes to, and you'll also get some information about that country and what our ministry is doing there. So it's a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, it is amazing. And this is, I don't know what the overall number is, but I have to suspect that it's grown every year, right?
Just about, yes.
That more and more boxes being shipped. What about the growth in countries? Are you seeing, how many countries now do?
About 114 or so that we're into, and we're constantly, we constantly have people out trying to get in other places. And when, like you said, we just don't go into a country and drop shoe boxes. We specifically are getting all of our materials translated into the local language, which is no easy task.
No, I know.
But it is such a difference maker to present to a child a copy of the gospel in their language.